Hello, my podcast people, and thank you for joining me for yet another episode of my favorite podcast. If you're watching this right now, then perhaps you see I have a very big smile on my face. I just felt something under my legs. It's Rupert. You can't see any of this because he's under the desk. Rupert's under the desk, and I got Moose behind me because I'm apparently Dr. Doolittle today, and I got both of the kids. But if you're listening, watching, tuning in on the day that it drops, it is Monday, March 24th. Welcome to almost the end of March. You got one more Monday in March. My usual message: enjoy each day, live each day, do the things now because shit goes fast. So today we're talking about something that you can do right now, right? An action item you can do right now regarding all the shit that's happening in the world. And I will tie it into business. I know that the reason I started this, it actually wasn't the reason I started this podcast, but the slant of this podcast is business, online business. And so I'm going to pepper that in. But life is lifing, and life is part of business. So we're going to be talking about that. But first, I got 4 life updates for you. Number 1, I started a new lifting program. Oops, that's Rupert. Just kicked him. Sorry. I started a new lifting program. It is a DIY hypertrophy program from Aaron Straker. I have mentioned his name before. If you don't know, it's fine. We'll link his stuff in the show notes. We'll link his Instagram and his website. Thank you, Courtney. He hosts a podcast with Brian Borstein. I have brought Brian Borstein onto the podcast. We can link that episode as well. Thank you, Courtney. But they host a podcast called Eat, Train, Prosper. And I brought that up before because I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts, but that is one that I listen to actually watch it on YouTube every week. But we can link the program as well that I'm doing from him. I usually program for myself. I actually really enjoy it. I find it fun. I use Excel and I like doing it. But I was looking for some new intensity techniques. And when I say intensity, I mean increasing the difficulty, not just increasing my heart rate, right? So like, I'm not trying to do like fucking HIIT or anything like that. Basically, I am at a point lifting wise where I can't just add more sets. Like I don't have time. I'm already down there for a long time. And I do think there's diminishing returns with that just from an evidence-based perspective. And adding more load isn't super ideal for me. My body doesn't handle it very well. If you've met me in person, you know I'm not a very big person. It tends to be disappointing for people. I'm a pretty petite person, right? I'm 5'6", but I weigh 124 pounds on like a good day. So just adding more and more weight, that really isn't great for me. I do have change, especially, just in general, not even like body part specific, but I do have change plates. Because I'm saying this, I do have smaller, like fractional plates that go on my dumbbells. So I can, increase that, accordingly and go up, in these small jumps. But my knowledge around increasing the stimulus and continuing to go after a progressive overload tells me that I need a new stimulus, a different stimulus. So on their podcast, Eat, Train, Prosper, they talk about evidence-based approaches to hypertrophy training. And one of the things that they talk about is this concept of myosets. They also talk about lengthened partials, both as techniques to increase intensity. And honestly, I don't know how to fucking program that. I was like, I don't know. I could guess, but like, why guess when I can just buy this program? So Aaron he's had this program out for a while, and then he just recently put out the second, level 2, if you will, of it. And it's called No Man's Land. And I was like, great, I am no man. Perfect. It felt very reminiscent of, if you're a Game of Thrones, if you're a, what is it? Lord of the Rings, fan, then you'll know what I'm talking about. When she takes her like face mask thing off, it's like, I am no man. But I am currently starting week 2. After I finish recording this, I will go and lift, and it'll be day 1 of week 2. And I'm stoked. I'm honestly super excited to lift each day. Like all last week I was excited. I was sore as well. But it's done really well, right? It's the program itself, very smart, done very well. It was like $37 also. I was like, Aaron. But also thank you, but also Aaron. I don't need a coach. Right? I don't need that. Like I know the benefit of it, but I don't need that. I was like, I just need the programming. I don't need to like check in with you and ask for things. Like I just need the programming. And it's been so good. I'm also really proud of the home gym that I've built, right? Because I can do this programming at home. It does, like, yes, it's designed for like a Globo gym, but I'm like, I have all this stuff here. The only thing that I don't have is a true lat pull down. But I do have those 2. I have 3 actually, because Lex brought one. we have 3 Anchor units now. I had 2 and she brought 1. And I will link to the episode where I brought on Isaac. He's the founder of Anchor. I still believe in that product so much. And we will link the video review that I did on YouTube of it. Thank you, Courtney. But I'm excited. I'm really proud of my home gym. I'm like, I can do all this stuff here. Like, this is literally, I have a linear hack press. I got a leg extension machine, leg curl machine, because it's one and the same. I have all the dumbbells. I have a row machine, like an actual, like, a plate loaded row. I got all the things. I have safety squat bar and such in the back. I have a GHD in the backyard. So I'm like, I can actually do all this stuff. So really excited about that. It's really intelligent programming, and I'm loving the new techniques, right? Old exercises, same exercises, new intensity techniques, new stimulus. But the business lesson here is, don't be surprised if it takes years for someone to buy from you, right? Or if they buy at all. Most people in the audience will not buy, but keep showing up. I've known about Aaron since about, I guess, 2020, right? I started with Paragon, using their programming, and that's Brian programs for them. I brought Brian on, I brought LCK on. But I knew about Aaron because of Brian's podcast that he does with him. And I've been following them literally since 2020. It's 2025 now, and I just bought something. So that is very typical for a bit of a sales cycle for your customers. So keep fucking showing up. Second life update, I went to a new dentist last week. I said a smile. You can't see, but if you're listening, you can't see. Her name is Dr. Bita Davudian. As you can tell by the name, she is brown. And as I am telling you right now, she's a she, which I'm fucking stoked about. I've been looking for a new dentist. Business lesson incoming here. The last one that I went to just tried to fucking sell me on too much shit all the time. And I was like, this is the fucking worst. I don't trust that you actually have that benevolence factor. I think that you just want to make more money. Right, so I am actually going to go for cleanings every 4 months. They tried to push that on me at the last place, and I really felt like it was because they just wanted more money. Both doctors at this place sat down, they talked about everything, and they're like, this is why we do it this way. If you want to come every 6 months, you can. This is why it's traditionally done 6 months. 4 months is easier for us. And that damaging admission, quote unquote, is great when they're like, yeah, it's easier for us, it's better for us, in terms of like, there's less work to be done because you're coming more frequently. And I was like, I get that. And I would love to see you every 4 months. The last place I was like, no, I don't even fucking want to go ever because you're going to sell me on some other shit. All right, so don't do that if that's your business. Do what Dr. Bita Davudian is doing. I also knew that I wanted a female doctor. I wanted a female dentist, and preferably a brown one. I'm not trying to go to another old white man. Like, yes, my last place was actually a young Asian guy, and the woman who did most of the work, Charlotte, really liked her. She was Asian as well, but they kept trying to sell me shit. Charlotte, not as much, which is why I actually really liked going to her. But he was the head guy, and I was just I would just cancel my appointments. I would make them, and then I would just cancel them, and cancel them enough that there was no charge. And I was just I want to get the fuck out of here. So I stopped going, and then I found this new one after my friend Sin posted in her stories about her and was she was hyping the fact that she was a woman, that she was brown, and the entire staff was female, and I was like, yes. Sign me up. And it's actually fucking down the street from me. I could walk there if I wanted. It'd take me a little bit of time, but it's literally a straight shot from where I live. So all around amazing. So I finally went and scheduled an appointment. And I've actually recommended 2 people since then. And this was literally last Friday. And they've since called and booked. Business lesson here, a solid product and word of mouth referrals will always be the backbone of a business. Always, right? They have no social media. They're not on Instagram, and their website literally looks like from 1999. I was like, what is happening here? But the recommendation that I got, the word of mouth referral from my friend, I trust that 100%. And all of the reviews that she did have online were fucking raving. People were just obsessed. And I was like, no brainer, right? So the last take home lesson from my dentist appointment is start enacting change right now, right? Change how you spend your money, change who you're supporting. Right? In your day-to-day, right? It does matter. These things do matter. We can start building the world we want, right now. All right, third update here. The weather here in SoCal has been tornadoes and rain. It's raining right now, actually, which is why I got all the lights. You can't tell I have all the lights on, but I got the other lights on because it's fucking raining. It was not raining when I started writing the outline for this, and now it's raining, which I actually don't really mind. And why am I updating you on this? Because I can. I really enjoy when I listen to podcasts and they give me life updates and I know what's going on, so I'm doing the same. But we've had last week it was 40 mile per hour gusts and 2 earthquakes, and I'm like, I get it. Mother Nature ain't happy, and I was like, I wouldn't be happy either. Look at what the fuck we're doing. I wouldn't be happy. But I don't really mind the weather, to be completely honest. I can't go anywhere when it's like this because I don't have the top on my Jeep. I could put it on and have Lex help me, but like, I also we have her car. But it's just nice for chilling out, doing work, getting shit done, hanging out with both kids as I have them now. But I will say, fuck this time change. Fuck this time change. I am old and I don't need it. All right. But I know that I felt like this for quite a few years now. How do I know that I felt like this? Because, I write shit down in my little journal on my phone that I'm writing in the weather and things like that. I write down how I'm feeling about things. And I didn't like the time change last year or the year before or the year before that or the year before that. All right. It doesn't need to be light at 8 p.m. What are we doing? What are we doing? Go home. I don't even be getting up early like that. I'm not a morning person. I get up twice, actually now it's just once for volleyball on Wednesdays. But the rest of the time, I wake up at 7, 7:30, 8. I don't care. But I would still like to wake up and have the sun be there ready for me, greeting me. Right? I don't like this time change. I don't want it. Okay. Fourth update and the segue into the meat and potatoes of this episode. This past Sunday, my friend Pam hosted a little get together at her house. She had reached out to me and she's like, hey, what do you think about we invite like a group of people over and we talk about what's going on in the world? And I was like, yes, I think that's great. She was like, we can talk about and just share our feelings and maybe, could see what we can do, but like, let's just get together. And I was like, yes. It was really cool to see Pam in action too. So Pam has a background as a CEO for big companies. And it was really cool just to see her in action running the meeting. That's not really what I like doing, to be honest. Not in that kind of setting. But I am a connector. Y'all know that. And so she asked me to do my connecting thing. And she was like, hey, who would you want to invite? Who would be a good idea to start off with? Tell me, and then I'll invite him. And so I did that. There was 5 of us. Brought food. I brought shrimp. I love a little shrimp cocktail. I brought shrimp. We went for a walk. We had big talk. We went for a walk around. She literally lives on the street in the neighborhood. And it was just really fucking good, right? There was 5 of us. It was really fucking good. And that is what has inspired today's episode. All right. So today's episode is... what did I call this? Something you can do right now. So during the session that we had on Sunday, Pam asked 2 questions, and I thought they were fucking great. And I wanted to share them with you. All right. Pam, being Pam and that CEO brain, at the end of our session, she was just like, how do we grow this? Very CEO of her. And yes, we absolutely talked about commerce versus capitalism. But for me, I told her, I'm not concerned with growing that particular group. I know how we could do it. I'm not super concerned with that. But I also know that we can grow the impact of it in other ways, right? And largely the ripple effect of things. And we can each of us do that in our own ways. And for me, one of those ways is this podcast. It's you fine folks. Y'all be listening, y'all be tuning in. And I am so grateful for that. Right? It means that I have the ability, you have afforded me the ability and the opportunity to leverage the attention that you so generously offer me. So that's what I want to do. So what I need you to do, get a pen and paper so that you can, well, maybe go home first. If you're listening to this in the car or something like that, please don't do it now. But make a note then to get a pen and paper when you go home. And then you're going to write this down because I'm going to share with you the 2 questions and I'll talk about some of the facilitation suggestions. Right? So the 2 questions that Pam asked. Number 1, what are your biggest fears? And then number 2, where do you go for comfort /intel /information that is helpful, right? That makes you feel good. And both of these questions are in relation to what is going on right now in the world. Some facilitation suggestions borrowed from Pam. She ran the shit out of this session. Some facilitation suggestions is... these are suggestions for if you're going to do this with, at least one other person or a group of people. So number 1, start small, right? One other person is fine, or a handful of other people. You don't need to have like 50 million people. We had 5 people total. Number 2, start safe, right? What I mean by safe is that I knew that the people that I told Pam to invite, we were all politically aligned. We all wanted to be talking about this. We all had like the same kind of disposition, similar disposition, and the same general values. Right? This is actually very valuable. Right? Establishing that quote unquote safety, that familiarity, that sameness is actually very valuable, and you will still have different answers, which is the coolest part. One of the things that came up, one of the people there, she brought this up, and she was like, I thought that, having discussions with like-minded people wouldn't actually be that beneficial or really do that much because it would kind of just be like creating an echo chamber. Right? And that's not the case. I promise you that is not the case. Have this discussion, answer these questions, and talk with, that one other person in that group. And you're going to find that it is incredibly eye-opening in the best way possible. Because you're like, wow, I didn't think that. Or now I get to know more about what really matters to you. And the thing that they bring up still matters to me as well. It's not like, oh, well, that's like fucking so, I don't even care about that. You're going to find overlap. Right? And it is eye-opening in the best way possible. And it's also incredibly comforting because of those shared values. And you're like, now I know I have this other group of people to reach out to talk to know that they're experiencing things at the same time that I am. Okay. The third suggestion here for facilitation is have a piece of paper and a pen for everyone that's coming. And then you're going to have them write at the top of the paper their name. Right? Why do we do this? Pam was like, hey, it grounds the paper. And I was like, yes, I love it. In the bottom right corner, you pick a corner, have them write down their age. Right? And what Pam did first was she's like, is everybody okay sharing their age? And everyone's like, yeah, okay. But write down their age. And the reason she had us do this, and I was like, I totally agree, is that age impacts everything, right? And it's worth noting. And it can serve as a talking point. Right. So Pam, I think, is in her 50s. I'm in my 40s. The people that were there in their 30s. And like, you're in different places in life. Different things, are important to you. You're experiencing different things. And it is worth sharing that and worth having discussions around that. And it doesn't have to be a central talking point. And perhaps it doesn't come up at all. But it is nice to have that there. And then the last thing is write down those 2 questions and write down the answers. Right? Write down your 3 answers, your 3 things for each. Right? The questions were, what are your 3 biggest fears? And where are 3 places that you go, 3 places, 3 people that you go to for comfort, to find information? And it could be online, it could be in person, your choice. That second one's largely kind of to share resources with people. From there, Pam went around and asked us to share. Right? You run the session however you want. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm excited about it, then you know how to run a meeting. Like, that tells me that that's your role in life. That's great. So run it however you want. To me, effective facilitation does call on people. It doesn't call people out, but it's like, hey, you haven't said anything, or like, hey, what's coming up for you? And then like, if they want to move on, you can. Right? And effective facilitation does share your own answers as the facilitator. Right? It's not just like everybody else talking. I'm just, here to like run it. No, you're part of it as well, but you are guiding that conversation. To me, effective facilitation also asks questions. Whether it's like, tell me more, and not just like in a fake therapy kind of way, but like, I don't understand. Do you understand? Like, what's coming up? And it does challenge things, right? It can be like it was great having conversations with Pam. Right? Pam is very much in the corporate world and loves it. And I was like, this is great, right? It takes all kinds. Revolution, change, growth takes all kinds. So it was really cool to hear what she valued and what was important to her. And so she's sharing that and then I bring something up, or, someone else in the group brings something up, and she's like, wait, I don't understand. And I was like, this is great, because we all get to see what we really stand for, believe, explain things, see how the same things are, manifesting differently for different people. Just, it's great. Ask the questions, right? Curiosity. As for sharing our own answers, I'm going to share mine next week with y'all, because I don't want to influence your answers. Everyone did write down their own answers, right, at the session. And then we went around so we could see, and then we went around and everyone said their answers. But we got to see in doing that, like, how some answers were similar, but they had different words. We also had some folks that were like, oh, after hearing that, I would like to add that to my list. And I'm like, yes, I want additions, not omissions. And I fear that if I go first, you're going to be like, oh, and just kind of like hear it and it'll influence you. So I'd rather you just write down your own things, share with your people, share with me if you'd like. All right. So my homework action item for you, for those of you wondering, what can you do right now, is to set up a date with your friend or your friends and then answer these 3 questions and just talk. You don't need to walk away with marching orders. The biggest value to me, in my opinion, is having the conversation at all. Right? Knowing you, my audience, you probably will walk away with action items, but there's no need to go in to the hangout expecting you're going to like identify a list of things and like solve the world's problems. Okay, just go in to have the conversation. All right, that's all I got for you. As always, endlessly appreciative for every single one of you. Until next time, friends. Maestro,